Fear not death, for the sooner we die, the longer we shall be immortal. Benjamin Franklin. Greetings, mortals, and a capital day to you all. I'm your host Simon, and you are watching the Library of Gnosis. To truly understand death, we have to look deeply into mythology, which is what we'll be doing today. It is Saturn that is the agent in charge of death and the reincarnation process, the chain that binds. Saturn, the god of matter and of the harvest, the god of destruction and periodic renewal. In the astral plane, as you travel through the celestial spheres, it is Saturn that is responsible for judging your karma, and if you are to proceed in your astral journey, or if you are forced to once again incarnate on Earth. The fact that Saturn plays a part in the reincarnation process was told to me by a very high-ranking Freemason, a 33rd degree to be more specific, so that is my source. But it makes sense when you look at Saturn's role as a god of the harvest, destruction, and periodic renewal. The angel who I connect with Saturn is Samael. One of Samael's greatest roles in Jewish lore is that of the main angel of death and the head of Satan's. Although many of his functions resemble the Christian notion of Satan, to the point of sometimes being identified as a fallen angel, he is not necessarily evil, since his functions are also regarded as resulting in good, such as destroying sinners. It is Samael, or Saturn, that has the role of destroying the souls of sinners, to be the one in the heavenly host who persecutes mortals based on their sins. Satan, the Satan, first appear in the Hebrew Bible as a heavenly prosecutor, subordinate to God. This was his original role, before he got the task of being the adversary, the tempter. In the Synoptic Gospels, Satan tempts Jesus in the desert, and is identified as the cause of illness and temptation. Satan is seen as an agent subservient to God, typically regarded as a metaphor for the Yetzer Hara, or evil inclination. The Bible also speaks about hell in the afterlife, and this as the destruction of one's soul, and Satan is often said to be the prince of hell, of course. And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. Matthew 10:28. We anthropomorphize death as the Grim Reaper, who is veiled, holding a scythe. This is actually just a portrayal of Saturn. Saturn himself was represented as veiled, involutus, as for example in a wall painting from Pompeii that shows him holding a sickle and covered with a white veil. Saturn is frequently depicted carrying a scythe, a potent symbol of the passage of time and the cyclical nature of life and death. This imagery reinforces the god's association with agriculture and the harvests, as the scythe is a tool used to reap crops when they reach maturity. Additionally, Saturn is often portrayed with a sickle, emphasizing his role as a god of time and fate. The god's association with time is further illustrated by the planet Saturn, named after the deity due to its slow orbit around the sun. This celestial body, with its distinctive rings, serve as a cosmic reminder of the god's enduring influence over the temporal aspects of existence. Furthermore, Saturn's myth also emphasizes the cycle of life, with the god being associated with both creation and destruction. According to the myth, Saturn feared being overthrown by his children, as he had usurped his own father. Thus, to prevent this, Saturn devoured each of his newborns. However, his wife, Ops, managed to save their youngest son, Jupiter, who ultimately overthrew his father, leading to a new age. Various literary works, artworks, and music have drawn inspiration from Saturn's mythological symbolism. Whether it be William Shakespeare's references to Saturn in works like King Lear, or Francisco Goya's painting, Saturn devouring his son, artists have often utilized Saturn's motifs to comment on the cyclical nature of life, or explore themes related to time, power, and morality. We find Saturn, or Satan, in Egyptian mythology as the god Seth. Seth is a god of deserts, storms, disorder, violence, and foreigners in ancient Egyptian religion. Seth had a positive role where he accompanied Ra on his bark to repel Apep, the serpent of chaos. Seth had a vital role as a reconciled combatant. He was the lord of the Red Land, deserts, where he was the balance to Horus' role as the lord of the Black Land, fertile land. Seth is a god of chaos, and Horus is of course a god of order, the yin and yang that is needed to uphold the fabric of reality. Then Death and Hades were thrown into the lake of fire. The lake of fire is the second death. Revelation 20:14. This Bible verse seems to imply that there will be one day when death is no longer a thing. So perhaps one day we will live forever in the flesh. Until that day, there will still be people who will try to become immortal. This is the magical property that the Philosopher's Stone was said to have, after all. The people who rule this world are followers of Saturn, or Satan. I think they have figured out how to choose the vessel for their next incarnation. This is why bloodlines are so important to them. Just like in the story of Osiris, he is reborn in his son. They probably gained this knowledge from Egypt. This is how they have been able to accumulate so much knowledge. They probably even remember parts of their past lives. But they most likely do not have perfect recollection. This is why they are trying to become immortal through the use of technology. If you want to know more about Saturn, then I have previously made a video on the topic. I will leave a link in the description for that. Now we are coming to the end of this video. I want to end by thanking all my current Patreon supporters, and of course all of you watching. I will see you in the next video, mortals.